Now that users can sign up, sign in, and sign out, let's go ahead and put them to work. So in this lesson, we're going to be doing three things. First, we're going to protect our challenge mutation routes so that only authenticated users can reach them. Then we'll replace the hard-coded creator ID 1 placeholder that we've left behind in our store method with a real authenticated user's ID. Finally, we'll add ownership checks to our edit, update, and destroy methods so that only the challenge's creator can modify or delete it. Now, before we start gating things behind our authentication, it's worth understanding why inside of our header here, auth user is already available throughout our application, even on pages that don't require authentication, like our homepage and challenges lists. So we touched on this briefly in the last lesson, but if we scroll up to our middleware, we have this silent auth middleware. This runs check off of the auth module inside our HTTP context. As mentioned in the last lesson, this is going to try to authenticate the user session for the request, populating that CTX auth user if an authenticated user is found. The check method here will silently fail if it's unable to find an authenticated user, allowing the user through the page in a logged out state. If it's able to find the user, then it's going to go ahead and populate CTX auth user throughout the HTTP context of this request. This middleware in itself is registered by default as a global middleware so that this silent check against our auth is performed on each and every request, making the user readily available. So that's why the user is already available to us. I do want to also note that there is a similar but slightly different authenticate method that, like check, will still populate CTX auth user if there is an authenticated user, but this is also going to throw an exception that is not handled and does not silently allow the request to continue onward. This is similar to our auth middleware, where it's going to throw an exception to prevent the user from continuing onward. Our auth middleware just takes it a step further and redirects the user instead of showing the user that exception. So a couple of important distinctions there. So we definitely want this one to be checked so that it silently allows an unauthenticated user to continue onward. And then if for any reason you don't want this registered globally, you can jump into your kernel.ts file. And if you scroll up to the router section here, it is defined in here so that it's run for any route matched inside our application. Okay. Jumping into our routes now, with how we have things rigged up currently, anybody can access the create, store, edit, update, and destroy methods off of our challenges controller, allowing them to create, update, and delete any challenge that we have. So what we want to do here is, and you can remove this particular middleware if you'd like, but I'm going to leave it in, is add in another use call here, pointing to the create, store, edit, update, and destroy methods inside of our challenges controller. For those methods, we want to apply the middleware requiring an authenticated user. So that's our auth middleware there. Note that we've left index and show out of this auth group intentionally, as anyone should be able to browse the challenges as well as view an individual challenge inside of our application. Only creating, editing, deleting should be locked down to an authenticated user. With this set, now if an authenticated user tries to visit /challenges/create, the auth middleware will intercept that request and redirect them to log in instead. So jumping back into our browser here, if we log out and then head over to /challenges, we should be able to view this page because it's not protected by our auth middleware. But if we jump into create a new challenge, we get unauthorized access because the auth middleware has then stepped in, said we don't have an authenticated user here, send them to the login page instead, which it has done here. Okay, back into our code. Let's go ahead and jump into our challenges controller next. Within our CRUD basics lesson, we had a foreign key constraint whenever we were creating challenges, because our challenges table requires a creator ID to be provided with an existing user's ID via that foreign key constraint. As a temporary fix to this, we hard-coded a 1 here with a user that we manually created inside of our application. Now that we have authentication in place though, let's go ahead and use the real authenticated user's ID here as our creator ID instead of this hard-coded 1. So we'll start by taking in our auth module from the HTTP context. And as we've already discussed, we can access the authenticated user by doing auth.user. So to get the authenticated user's ID, we would then do auth_user.id there. We know that we have this particular method within our route definitions protected now by the auth middleware, requiring an authenticated user in order to access this particular method and route handler. The auth module, though, isn't able to intuit that, so it's going to leave the auth user as possibly undefined here for our type. Since we know that we're going to have an authenticated user here, we can correct TypeScript with this and assert that with an exclamation point here, telling TypeScript that we know that we're going to have an ID here and to ignore that possibly undefined type that it thinks it knows about our user. So that's now going to use our authenticated user's ID in place of our creator ID. While we're here, I just want to quickly note an alternative way that we can create this as well directly using the user and its relationship. So we could do await auth user dot related. And again, that's going to switch to a question mark because it's possibly undefined. We can assert that it's going to be here. And via related, we can reach through to the created challenges relationship to then create a challenge directly via this relationship. And in turn, this is going to do the exact same thing as what I have commented out right up here. It's just going to take what it knows about the relationship for our created challenges off of our user and use it to populate properties as needed. So it's going to autofill in the creator ID here as it creates the challenge through this relationship. So either one of these will work just fine, and I'll go ahead and leave them both in here for reference. Now, requiring an authenticated user got us partway there, but within our edit and update, we still have it to where any logged in user can access either of these handlers, viewing the edit page as well as updating and even deleting a challenge as well further on down, regardless of who created it. So what we want to do here is check that the authenticated user is actually the creator before allowing any of those mutations to happen within these three methods. And the pattern to do so is rather straightforward. After we've queried the challenge, because we're going to need to know who the creator of the challenge is, we'll add in an if check, comparing the challenge's creator ID to, and we'll need to pluck auth out of our HTTP context here as well, the auth user ID. If these two do not match, then we're going to use our session to flash a message. So we'll do session flash, and we'll give this an error state stating you do not have permission to edit this challenge or whatever you would like there. Then we can go ahead and return, and we're going to need response as well. So we'll pluck out response to redirect the user away to protect this route. So we'll redirect them to, and we'll just do challenges index there. We can give this a copy because we also need to perform this very same check within the update method, because it's always possible that even though they don't have access to the edit page, they could add in the fields to a separate page manually by mutating the HTML or even using an HTTP client like Postman or Insomnia to send a request to our server. So even though the page itself to edit isn't accessible, you always want to also make sure that you're protecting the actual update operation as well, or the mutation operation, whatever it may be. So again, after we've queried the challenge, we want to go ahead and perform the check and redirect any unauthorized user away from this action before we make any mutations to it. We'll also need to pluck out our auth. But whenever we update, we're also performing a validation against the request data. There's really no point in running that validation if the user doesn't have permission to make this change in the first place. So what would make more sense here is if we go ahead and just cut that out and move that underneath our authorization check. So now we're querying for the challenge, authorizing that the user has permission to edit this challenge. And if they don't, we're going to redirect them away right there. If they do, then we'll perform the validation to give them feedback about the data that they've provided, if any of it is invalid. Finally, we can give this one more copy and jump down to our delete, where we want to do very much the same thing. So after we've queried for the challenge, we want to authorize the user to make sure that they are the creator and have authorization to perform this action. The only change here is that we need to switch this from you do not have permission to edit to you do not have permission to delete this challenge. Great. So that takes care of all of our backend updates. If we jump into our front end now, let's sign in with testuser1 at test.com, enter in their password to log in as them. We can head back over into our /challenges page, create a new challenge. We'll call this testuser1's challenge, just so that it's clear and evident whose challenge it is. We'll give it 50 points and hit create. Perfect. So now we have testuser1's challenge. We can jump into here. We can edit it, hit edit right there. Boom. Perfect. And delete would work very much the same. We'll go ahead and log out now, sign up, and we'll do testuser2 at test.com. And if I can spell, we'll make their password there something as well. Okay, let's jump back into our /challenges page. And if we try to now delete test challenge one's challenge there, we get you do not have permission to delete this challenge. If we try to edit, same thing. We don't have permission to edit this challenge. And in both cases, it redirects us back to the challenges page. We can, however, create a challenge of our own. So testuser2's challenge, we'll give that 10 points. Perfect. What would be even more user-friendly, though, is if we also hid the create button if we're not logged in, as well as the edit and delete buttons if we are not authorized to perform that action, so that it prevents the user from clicking on it and seeing this message in the first place unless they're doing something nefarious. Let's go ahead and take care of the edit and delete buttons first since we're already logged in. So we'll jump back into our text editor, move down into our pages, and we can go into, it should be just the show page here that we need to edit. So we have both the edit and delete right here. So we can just wrap these in a simple if. So at if challenge.creatorID equals the auth user ID, then we'll show both of these buttons and we can end our if. Nice and easy. Give that a save, jump back into our page. And now both buttons are gone for our test user 2. If we go back and we jump into test user 2's challenge, then we see the edit and delete buttons here. Finally, we have the create a new challenge. By the way, I'm only seeing this here because I'm literally using the back button to refresh the session. Okay, so let's go ahead and log out, go back into /challenges. And now that we're logged out, we should not be seeing the create a new challenge button. So let's take care of that next. This is on our index page right here. So similar to our edit and delete, we just need to wrap this in an at if, and this time we just need to check if we have an auth user. If we do, we can go ahead and show that button. So end if there. And now it's gone for our unauthenticated user. If we log back in as test user 1 at test.com, enter in their password, go back to /challenges, we now have that page back and readily accessible. Perfect.